What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And today we're going to talk about 10 things you better never do during a prison shakedown. If you serve time, whether we're talking about in jail or in prison, one thing is guaranteed: you're going to deal with some shakedowns. And in a lot of places, they happen more than once a year. Sometimes they happen twice, but in a lot of places, they happen every quarter, 4 different times a year. That's 4 different times that you're going to have to be prepared with any type of contraband that you have in an effort to not get caught with that. And again, in this video, I'm going to tell you 10 things you better never do during a prison shakedown. But before we get into this video, I do want to give a very special shout out to the sponsor of this video, an awesome mobile game that's sponsoring After Prison Show for the 2nd time. This game really likes After Prison Show, and After Prison Show really likes and appreciates this game, Vikings War of Clans. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with this game, Vikings War of Clans was inspired by the famous strategy and RPG games of the 90s, like Final Fantasy VII and Command & Conquer, that we all used to love and play with a dedication that today's youngsters will never understand. What makes Vikings World so addictive is that more than 20 million online players are constantly changing the way the game evolves by never-ending fighting over resources, forging new alliances, and competing in live events. So I'm asking all of you to please help support After Prison Show by downloading Vikings for free, only from my link down in the description box. And again, for those of you who don't know, that link is right down below. Open up that description box. It's right there on the top. Click that link, download Vikings War of Clans for free, and when you do so, you're gonna get a special bonus of 200 gold coins and a protective shield, which will be extremely useful for the start. Also, don't forget to look me up on Vikings War of Clans. Hopefully you can see my profile right there. That is a Little Dumpster Fire 69. I don't think anybody's got a user profile name as ingenious as mine. Come rock with me on Vikings War of Clans. Join my clans. Let's clan up and let's take over the world together. My clan just sitting here ready to do battle. I wish somebody would come get me. I wish somebody would try to come fight me on this game. Little Dumpster Fire 69 ain't playing no games. Come get some if you want some. Y'all ain't ready for my clan. Oh, there goes somebody right. Oh, I got you. Infirmary. Build. So again, a very special thank you to Vikings War of Clans for sponsoring this video. Now, folks, there are a lot of different scary things that you're going to deal with while locked up. Make no mistake of it. If there's ever anybody who ever tells you that they were never scared while locked up, there's a good potential that they're lying. Prison is a scary place for a lot of different reasons. Far outside of the violence and the fighting, there's other things that make prison scary as well. Like feeling like you may never get released. What if they forget about you or lose your paperwork? Dealing with some of the worst staff could be scary as well, because if they're having a bad day, they could just tack on more time to you, giving you an institutional charge, or maybe even worse, taking you back to court and getting you some street time added onto your sentence, which means potentially more years that you could end up serving. Now, of course, that would be an absolute worst case scenario. If ever you're dealing with horrible staff, the best thing to do is just try to stay out of their way. Because ultimately, trust and believe me when I tell you, you're in a lose-lose situation dealing with some nasty staff members. Ironically, anytime that you go through a shakedown while locked up, you're probably going to be dealing with some nasty staff. And another very scary thing that you will deal with while serving time are prison shakedowns. And there's a lot of do's and don'ts in relation to getting through a shakedown, surviving a shakedown, and trying to come through that basically unscathed. The reality, however, is that while locked up, you're going to deal with shakedowns, and there's a good chance that while dealing with those, you could end up getting in trouble. You could end up getting caught with something you're not supposed to have, and that could lead to you having to serve some time in isolation, maybe loss of privileges, like being able to go to commissary visitation using the phone, going out to rec. There's a lot of punishments that could be handed down if ever you go through a prison shakedown and you end up getting caught with something while going through that. So it's with all of that today I'm going to tell you 10 things that you better never ever do, or at least try to avoid, while going through one of these traumatic, PTSD enticing type situations. So let's go ahead and begin with the first thing making this list, and that is never fall for any deals during a shakedown. When you deal with a shakedown while locked up, a lot of times these things are going to come basically out of nowhere. However, on the flip side of the coin, there are times when you could get the heads up. Maybe you see the goon squad going to a different building, you know it's shakedown time. You woke up early in the morning, the phones are off, there's no movement, you know the compound is on an institutional lockdown, and they're getting ready to shake everything down. The Goonies, they're coming in the housing unit. It's in these particular times when you do have a little bit of heads up, when you know it's only a matter of time before these goon squads comes kicking through the front door, screaming and yelling, shakedown, shakedown, get on the floor. It's in these particular times when you do got a little bit of time to try to hide or get rid of things. Now, what may seem a little surprising is that even if you've got the heads up that they're getting ready to do a shakedown, you know, a lot of times guys aren't trying to get rid of the contraband that they have. Whether we're talking about little prison photographs that Joe used to sell of the women, whether we're talking about tattooing supplies, things that are needed for your prison hustle, whether we're talking about any number of contraband items that are important to you serving your time, you're not going to want to part with that. A lot of guys, they're not going to want to do that either. So you're going to be sitting there trying to tuck it, hide it, do whatever you can in an effort to not get caught with it. But you will have guys walking around with the deal of the century. Hey, I got 5 brand new white t-shirts fresh from laundry. 5 brand new t-shirts for only 5 soups. That's 1 single ramen noodle per brand new You can't beat that deal. And as enticing as that deal is gonna sound, like, wow, you can't buy no t-shirt from laundry for a single ramen noodle soup any other time of the year. But yet this guy's got 5 brand new t-shirts for 5 soups. You know, most of the time a t-shirt's probably gonna cost you like $2, maybe even a little bit more than that. As enticing as that deal is gonna sound, you're gonna wanna steer clear of that. Because what that guy's trying to do is get rid of something that he can't hide himself. When we're talking about whites, when we're talking about t-shirts, socks, boxers, things like that, you're only allowed to have a certain number of those. It could be 3, it could be 4, and you're not gonna wanna take on anything extra that you're gonna have to try to hide along with anything else that you're trying to have to hide as well. So anytime that you know a shakedown is looming, a shakedown is approaching, do not fall for the deals. Making this list at number 2 is never be the scape guy. Crazy enough to think you've got dudes who are locked up who have no prison hustle whatsoever. Their only hustle comes during shakedown, where they will actually hide contraband for other prisoners. It could be those 5 t-shirts we were just talking about, because this guy ain't got nothing in his locker. Or maybe we're talking about the tattooing equipment or the poker chips. You've got guys while locked up whose hustle is literally to hide things during a shakedown. They play the scape guy. However, you never want to play this role yourself, because I have seen this go wrong so many different times. The scape guy gets paid to hide contraband. However, what happens when he gets caught with that contraband? Now, not only does he owe the money he was paid in an effort to hide the contraband, he's also responsible for replacing whatever contraband was lost in the first place. And if we are talking about those little photographs of the women, or maybe magazines that got the women, we're talking very explicit type content, some of that stuff could never be replaced. And if it can't be replaced, then it's bung, 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 bung time. And you don't ever want to find yourself in a situation like that. So if you're locked up and you've got no hustle whatsoever, do not let a guy come up to you taking advantage of your weakness, because you're weak in that situation. Your locker game is on empty. You're weak. Do not let a guy come up to you and say, I need you to hide Tekashi. Could you hide Tekashi in your locker? You hide Tekashi for me. Hide him in your locker for me, and I'm gonna give you 1 single round. There you go. Go. Get in that locker. You never want to be the scape guy in prison, especially during a shakedown. That could end very badly. Number 3, making this list, never take the plea deal. This is something that's guaranteed to happen during any shakedown, anywhere, jail, prison, doesn't matter where you're at. When a shakedown first takes place and that goon squad kicks through that front door like the SWAT team on the street, like you getting swatted over a video game, the first thing that they're gonna do as soon as they get done yelling, screaming, and adding absolute chaos and pandemonium to the entire situation, where all prisoners are running around at the last minute with all of their contraband trying to get rid. Why did you wait till the last minute? Sometimes you ain't got no choice but to do so. But right after the dust is settled, so to speak, in that situation, all prisoners are gonna be standing at the foot of their bunk, sitting at the foot of their bunk, sitting and facing a wall, something like that. And the guards are gonna hit you with the good cop, bad cop. Bad cop was them coming through the front door. Now it's time for good cop. You're gonna have the big, bad, burly dude. He's gonna be the head of the unit. He's gonna be the platoon leader, the squadron leader, whatever you call this guy. He's gonna be the top dog SWAT team shakedown officer. He's going to be walking up and down the aisle or up and down the corridor in the housing unit saying something along the lines of, "Gentlemen, this is your one chance." You already know what it is. I'm Top Dog McGraw up in here and we getting ready to shake y'all down. And this is your one chance. If you've got any contraband whatsoever, any contraband. If you've got a number 3 pencil, you know they ain't got no number 3. If you got anything you ain't supposed to have, now is your one get out of jail free card. Take it from Takashi. You see what he did? He offered up all the information. This is your one chance to take the deal. Take that contraband and just put it out in the day room. You won't get a charge. Folks, I cannot tell you how many times I've been sitting in a shakedown with so much contraband. I'm talking about, I got my TV was legit, but I had a cable box. Cable boxes were something that was like absolutely exclusive at this one particular prison. You couldn't get these. And I had bought one off of the yard from another prisoner who brought one from another prison. Sanded his name off of it, engraved my name. This thing went on my property. I had a remote control for my TV. You couldn't have that. I had a lot of contraband that I couldn't hide that I just used to have to sit right there in plain sight and hope and pray that I was getting through with that. A surge protector, bought that off of the yard, sanded somebody else's name off it, put my name on it. If they checked my actual property sheet, I was done. Done. And I can't sit here and lie to you saying that during these times when this goon squad platoon leader is offering up this plea deal where I didn't contemplate just doing the right thing. Joe, just give it to him. Just give the kind officer. He's offering you a get out of jail. You've never told anything before in your life.
Right now, I swear
You've never
to
told
God,
anybody.
You get up out of this
yourself.
seat,
You've done
me
that
and you
quite a
are
few
done.
times.
I
You
know
gotta
we're
be
the
one of the
same person.
silliest prisoners
If you
that
do
I've
this,
ever-
we are done.
I can't even believe
never
we're the
look
same
at you
person,
the
but Joe,
You've
you
already
gotta do
told,
the
look,
right thing.
Listen
Joe,
to
do
him.
the
You've
right
told on
thing.
yourself before.
For once in your life, do the right thing. You're not supposed to have that anyways. I know you think you're stunning and flashy in here, but you're not.
You are a flashy
You don't really,
prisoner,
well, you
Joe.
do need
You
to
came
get
from the
boxed.
bottom.
He's giving you a
from the bottom,
chance,
now
Joe.
you here, though.
He's giving you a
here,
chance.
Joe, man.
Yeah, there's been times. There's been times when I've definitely considered telling on myself again, but I never did. Now, I will tell you, I've seen other prisoners who've done it. I've seen prisoners take that surge protector. Guard, I'm not supposed to have this guard here. I want to accept the plea deal. I'm still getting a charge. You just said, never take the plea deal. If you're gonna try to ride it out with the contraband, if you're gonna try to weather the storm, it's only gonna end one of two ways. You're either gonna get through or you're gonna get caught. It's the choice that you make and the risk that you take. Number 4, never switch seats with a guy and never try to get that guard. The goon squad is comprised of, 6, 10, 12 different prison officers. And let's just say it is 12. Of those 12 guards, you might have 2 that you consider to be the good guard. I can't believe they got him on the goon squad. That dude is a rookie. He's super nice. He's always talking to me. Hey, switch seats with me. I know you're next, but he's the next guard. Let me get him. And most shakedowns that I've been through, it usually goes like this. The goon squad comes in, they're screaming, they sit you in front of your bunk area, they give you the plea deal, and then from there, they take you straight into the bathroom area, they strip you butt ball naked, and then they start bringing you back to sit in this little makeshift waiting room of a couple of chairs, and it's while you're sitting in that makeshift waiting room that you start to see what guard you're potentially about to get. I've seen guys switch seats. I've seen guys offer like $10 in commissary to switch seats, and then they get that good guard. But that good guard don't turn out to be so good at all. You wonder why he's on the goon squad. You thought this guy was super nice and bubbly, want to talk to you all the time. Man, I am so lucky that I got you. All them other guards are horrible. I can't believe I lucked up and got you, rookie. Inmate, shut your face. This is a shakedown. Don't be talking to me. It's a shakedown. Boy, you like a Jekyll and Hyde. How did you change so much? I thought you was a nice guy. I thought you was nice. I've seen guys get that particular guard and that not turn out to be that great of a situation at all. These guys are trying to get ranked. They're trying to get some stripes on their arm. They're going to write you up for anything that they find. You have a contraband mayonnaise package in your locker. You're going to isolation. For some mayonnaise, though, somebody give me a lawyer on the phone. Anybody know Jose Baez's phone number? This is obstruction. The best thing to do once you make it to the waiting room area is just bide your time. I've gotten the guy who is considered the absolute worst guard. Guerrero, let's go. It's RoboCop time. You go. You know you got contraband. You sweat. Boy, you are sweating. And you just sit there. You don't try to make too much conversation at all, maybe a little bit of small talk. Hey, you see the game last night? Shut your face in me! Shakedown! Ain't no games! And you just hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That's all you can do. Number 5, never wait till the last minute to try to hide things. Unfortunately, in some cases, shakedowns happen by surprise. You ain't gonna have no choice but to do so. Again, when that front door gets kicked in and nobody was none the wiser, people gonna be running around in that thing like it's Lollapalooza. I don't know if that was really a good rendition of what Lollapalooza is. I just kind of went with that. But the best thing that you could do is if you got contraband and you know you got contraband, try to keep that put away at all times. A lot of prisoners will never do that. They'll keep that contraband right up underneath their mat because it's those prison pictures or those poker chips or that tattoo and paraphernalia because they've been tattooing all day. You know, it's hard to keep contraband put up because contraband in most cases are things that you really want, that you know you're not supposed to have, but they're super useful. And with them being super useful, you use them all the time. And with that, there is a good potential that you could be caught at the very last minute trying to get rid of them, take that tattoo gun. Boy, I just threw that tattoo gun 14 bunks down the boulevard. R.I.P. to whoever sleeps there. It's a good rule of thumb to try to not wait till the last minute to put up, hide, or get rid of anything that you're not supposed to have during a shakedown. Number 6 kind of correlates with number 5, and that is never try to flush things during a shakedown. One thing that you're going to come to realize when it's shakedown time is that, these goon squads, they're notorious plumbers, which means that, when the shakedown is right there taking place, they're going to cut the water off. You don't want to be caught trying to flush something down a toilet that ain't going to flush in the first place. Trust me, I have been there. I remember a time when I got caught tattooing because my cellmate told on me, and the goon squad was coming running up to the cell, and I'm sitting there trying to flush contraband bags of coffee. Coffee that was stolen from the kitchen, taking these bags, throwing them in the toilet, stomping them into the toilet, hitting the button all the while. No flush is commencing. That was a big old waste of time right there. The toilet is usually the last place you want to think of in terms of trying to get rid of things. Now, not in all cases will they cut the water off. Sometimes you will get lucky. I've had times where flushing things actually worked for me, but I've seen other times when flushing things just made me look like I was not the smartest tool in the shed. I wasn't an Alexa. Number 7, never get locked out of your cell. There are times when you're gonna have to risk getting in more trouble to spare yourself getting in other trouble. Another time, I was tattooing. I walked out of the cell for a minute to go talk to a guy in another cell. I can't remember why I did this. But as soon as I walked out of the cell and I almost got to that next cell, my cell bars began to close. The only cell bars in the cell block. As soon as I saw my cell door begin to close, I immediately beeline straight back to the cell, just barely was able to slide into that cell before them gates shut. And I realized right then and there, as soon as I was locked in my cell, that I was getting shook down. Here come the goon squad coming right up to the cell to shake me down. I barely got enough time to hide the tattoo and paraphernalia that I had. Didn't even really get a chance to hide it all that well. I was guaranteed to get caught. Wasn't even gonna think about trying to flush it. The only thing that saved me in this particular situation was the fact that the guard that came up to shake me down was a guard who was actually really, really cool. And he actually came up there, came into the cell and said to me, he said, "Do you know that another prisoner just hit the intercom button and told us in the booth that you were in here tattooing?" Wow, this snitching thing has really gotten out of control. That's how much this guy didn't like me. A couple of months later, I would end up fighting this guy, putting the bung bung all over him. One of the very few fights that Joe ever won throughout all the time that I spent locked up. But I did get the W for this, and I felt like that was rightly deserved. But again, if you know you got contraband inside of your cell and you got a chance to get in there before they get those gates shut, it's a good idea to go ahead and get locked in there, no matter what they're telling you. Inmate, do not go back in. I'm not listening to nothing you say. I got to try to hide this. I'd rather get caught for disobeying a direct order than to get caught with Tekashi 6ix9ine stuffed up underneath my bunk. Making this list at number 8 is kind of something messed up, but it's definitely needed. And that is, do not ever fully trust your cellie, no matter who that person may be. Unless this is your blood brother from the street, it's a good rule of thumb to always keep whoever you're dealing with while locked up at arm's distance, because you just never know. I was in a situation one time, I will never forget this, that during a shakedown, I ended up getting caught with some pills up underneath of my bunk that I know damn well were not mine. That somebody else, the guy that slept right beside me, had hidden under my bunk because he was getting shook down. And see, he didn't think that I was gonna get shook down at the same time, but because they knew what they were looking for the pills. Somebody had told on him in a last-ditch effort to try to not get caught with these pills, the only other thing that he could do was just take them from underneath his bunk, put them up underneath my bunk. And I will be damned if when they got done searching his stuff, they didn't flip my mattress back. Oh, what do we got here? We had the wrong guy. It was this idiot the whole time. I went to the hole for that. Ain't nothing like getting in trouble while you're locked up for something that you definitely didn't do. Somebody else did it to you. So it's a good rule of thumb to always, be checking on your stuff. Every so often, you might want to flip your mat back. Wow, where did I get a freaking AK-47 from? I didn't know I could get one of those in prison. You always want to know what you have, where you have it. It's not going to be the easiest thing to do, but trust me, it's a good rule of thumb to be checking on your stuff. And let me throw this in there as well. When there's a prisoner that people have a problem with, a bully prisoner, and the majority of the prisoners are too weak or scared to do anything about it, I've heard guys actually concoct plans to plant things on that bully prisoner, or maybe it's a prisoner they just don't like at all. Let me go ahead and plant this suicide note up underneath his bunk. Hey, officer, I don't know what's been going on with little Testimony 69 lately, but he's just been looking real blue in the face. And I ain't talking about that skittle-colored hairs neither, man. I think the guy wants to hurt himself. You might want to go shake him down, make sure he ain't got no weapons or nothing. Oh, we found a note, and this one ain't going to the prosecutor. It's going to put you in that padded room. No matter how much you might like a guy, it's always a good rule of thumb to keep them at arm's distance. Because guys will tell you anything while locked up and will blast you in the back the entire time. Not everybody, all right? There are some good guys while locked up. This might sound just a little too paranoid, but trust me, these are things that you better never do during a shakedown. Number 9 on this list is never appear to be scared or nervous. It's almost like going through interrogation or through a warrant. If you know you got things that you ain't supposed to have and you're trying to ride out the storm, you don't want to be sitting there fidgeting and looking all crazy. Hey, you almost done in there, officer? Wow, you've been in there for 45 seconds. There ain't nothing in there. I ain't got nothing. Don't tell on yourself that way. That's a very good way that you can tell on yourself, and I've seen guys get jammed up. I've seen guys crack. Okay, you got me. It's right underneath the coffee. You weren't ever going to look there. I just told on myself. If you do the crime, you got to do the time. You got to look tough the entire time as well. Talking specifically about surviving a shakedown. The final thing to make this list and coming in at number 10 is never keep in your possession more things than you need, especially in relation to contraband. Guys in prison will become absolute hoarders specifically for the reason that maybe they've never had anything before, so they've got 40 rolls of toilet paper. Look at me, I'm TP flossing. That's contraband. You get caught with that many rolls of toilet paper, you go into isolation. You have stolen from the state. No wonder we ain't got no toilet paper. Bob, we found the stash. Let's get the cameras ready. We can take a picture in front of 40 rolls of toilet paper. You're going down. Pablo toilet paper bar. And there's another really important reason why you shouldn't keep more things than you need. And that is because the worst thing you could experience during a prison shakedown is getting caught with something that you forgot you had. A knife. Wow, you found that. I did not. Damn it. I forgot I had that. You're already going to feel dumb enough getting caught for anything or getting caught with anything during a shakedown, let alone it be something that you forgot you even had. And I'll be honest with you. I've certainly experienced that myself. I just wanted to share these 10 things that you better never do during a prison shakedown with you. I truly hope that none of you ever have to experience a prison shakedown in your life. And if you ever have experienced one, I truly hope that you never have to experience another one. They're a horrible thing to go through. They're very stressful and anxiety-filled situations, and they absolutely suck. They're one of the top things that sucks about being locked up. And again, there's a lot of things that you never want to do during one. I've shared 10 of those things with you guys here today. If there's things that you guys can think of that I didn't mention in this video, comment down below and let me know exactly what those are. What are some other things that you better never do during a prison shakedown? Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment, letting me know exactly what you thought about. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!